We're doing it live.
We're doing it live. Anyways, well, welcome to some 40th episode of the podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Lucas the actor, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Josh Yang. Sorry, did you say my name?
No, I did not say your name. No.
Oh, okay. I was wondering, man, it was the juddering of the Wi-Fi. Hey, that's how the world is now. Everything is either 2 seconds behind or 1 second behind or
Oh no.
everything. But it's coming to an end, isn't it?
What, COVID's coming to an end?
Oh no, I meant 2020. 2020 is coming to an end.
True.
Yes.
So I am joined by my co-host, Josh the comedian, right over there. This is the podcast where creatives talk about the process of making it. I myself am in the acting game, and my co-host is in the comedy game right there. And you know what? We always ask each other this first off, though. Mr. Josh Yang, have you made it yet? And if you could please answer that question with a joke too.
Oh, okay. No, I have not made it yet, and Lucas is setting me up because I've done the stupid thing of committing myself to write and say a new joke every week because I've been saying too much of nothing for a while. So Josh's joke of the week for attempting to make it. Here we go. You know, as COVID cases are going up, I thought I'd talk a little bit about that. I feel like we all need to collectively recognize that doctors can only do so much. Sometimes a legitimate diagnosis from a doctor is, I don't know. That's why we describe doctors as practicing medicine. Practicing. I mean, I personally like a doctor that's practiced, please. What's more outrageous is that some doctors work in a private practice. That's where they get paid more to tell you they don't know what's wrong, but in a more intimate way. Privately. Yeah, I feel like that is okay. I feel like I could definitely punch it up later on, but that's the general idea for one joke, a new joke. It's helping me make it.
It has legs, man. It has legs.
Yeah, it has legs. Though a doctor may tell you they don't know what it. But either way, no, actually, I don't want to make it seem like doctors don't know what they're doing. Listen to doctors wear a mask. Lucas.
Oh, yes.
Have you made it yet?
Not yet, but we were talking last week about making our own luck, and I just had a really good call today. I'm not gonna count my chickens before they hatch or jinx anything, but at the very end, again, your agent only makes 15%. You have to do 85% of the work. Mm-hmm. So make sure you're keeping busy, because if you don't like something, make sure you change it. So making our own luck, Josh, because that's what we're doing, right?
Yep. And then sometimes it's also completely out of your control. So your luck can only go so far. I don't know why I'm going on a rather depressing, pessimistic streak. Doctors don't know what they're talking about. Luck is only a construct we've created to make ourselves feel better.
I don't blame you. The sun sets at 4:30. I feel it too, man.
Yeah.
It is damn dark right now. It's ridiculous. Ugh. Anyways, so with this, Josh, are you ready for our guest today?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. So I'll be honest, man. It's been a minute since I've seen our next guest. If my memory serves me correctly, I believe we met at my former church. I used to go to church, guys. It really does feel like a lifetime ago, as I think we met at youth group. We were introduced to each other, and a few years down the line, I was then told that he's an actor. This, of course, is all new to me, as I never knew of any actors, much less knew of anyone my age or of my Asian descent that pursued the arts. You don't really know of any actors. Back then, this was like, oh man, like early 2000s, like close to 20 years ago now, man. It's close to that. It's suffice to say that our next guest here opened a door for me that I didn't even know was closed, much less a door that I even knew was there. An Asian that's pursuing the arts and pursuing it full time, like congrats to him. That's awesome. I've been hearing of his rising career through friends of friends, and I'm so excited that we reconnected. He's been in the acting game for a while and has been on hit shows such as Arrow, Flash, Van Helsing, Supernatural, and the recently ended The 100. You might know him best as Jeremy in the hit Hallmark movie Just My Type, or as Jesse in A Homecoming for the Holidays. You will see him in season 2 of Virgin River coming out at the end of this month on Netflix. Please give it up for the talented and inspirational actor, Mr. Donald Heng.
Thanks, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, so if it is correct, like, can you vouch for this? Did we meet at church?
You know what? I was just looking at our mutual friends, and that appears to be correct.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Oh, we have a puppy here. As we start off,
she'll be popping in and out. Sorry.
Oh, that's so cute. No. I hope she stays. As we start off with every episode, though, Mr. Donald, have you made it yet?
I have not made it. I would not say that I made it. I'm still. I wouldn't say that it's just a side thing anymore. I mean, I think it certainly started off as a side thing, but I'm definitely looking at this as my main career. Awesome. But I don't make enough money to not need to supplement my income with other kind of jobs. Wow. So until that happens, I don't think I can say that I made it.
Okay. All right. Well, there we are. Just as a quick follow-up to that statement of making and pursuing your passion and your career with that, what would be your it in making it?
Well, like I said before, just not having to worry about any financial stuff and being able to just focus on acting purely. Right now, obviously, we're still auditioning a lot. Making it would be not having to audition probably as much. Getting some choices into the kind of roles that you really want to do and stuff, instead of just really I'm pretty much taking what I can get at this point. Yeah.
Has your I guess concept of like making it adapted and changed since when you first started going out to auditions? Was there something that, like, I feel like as everybody starts pursuing these type of like more artistic, more passion related careers, it's kind of like the passion that drives you in the beginning, and then you kind of get brought back down to earth and you realize, like, maybe I gotta make sure I can feed myself. Some other things come into view. I'm wondering, like, what was your idea of making it when you kind of started out?
I don't know what my idea was making it when I started out. I think maybe to really generalize it, just being on TV, I don't know, man. Like, but in terms of being knocked down over and over again, for sure. I mean, I've been doing this for 9 years, and it's kind of hard to believe, because when I first started it, I told myself, 3 years, and then maybe a year in, I was like, I'll do it 5 years. And if I don't get to where I want to be, then I'll just call it quits. 5 years later, another 5 years. And now I'm here today, and I'm like, screw it with the 5 years. I think I'm in this for life, but I just, there's no more time limit for me. I just kind of like understand that it's just like an always learning process. And it sucks, man. It's like, I don't know, there's like a Chinese verb that says like a frog in the well, like he looks up in the well and he sees just the sky and he thinks it's the whole world. But when he gets out of the well, he sees so much more. And it's like, the more you know you don't know. And I think every 2 years I get reset. I just like get incredibly discouraged. There's a period of, during the year where I get really discouraged. And then I kind of like say, okay, I'm just going to work harder than I did before. And then every 2 years, the same thing happens. And you're like, man, the more you know you don't know. And it's just, it's kind of scary. Because I honestly think that in the beginning, if I knew how hard it was going to be, I don't know if I would have dipped my toes in it.
Oh, I know. Like, like I was watching this one thing about like an actor's life, and it's basically like an iceberg. Of course, like, but people only see like the successful bits at the very top, but the very bottom, it's always just rejection, hard work, a lot of money, rejection. And it's just the mental toll it takes until you finally maybe get to a place where you feel a bit more confident. But if you didn't know that going in, I'm sure the confidence of going into the arts comes a lot from just not knowing the price you have to pay to go in there.
I think so too. I really do.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people have said that and voiced their opinion to me, but for me, I really think that if I knew looking back that these next 10 years are going to be this stressful, I definitely would have at least looked at alternatives into what I'd like to do instead of just going head first into this. Because, I mean, even right now, especially now with COVID, I mean, there's no more live auditions pretty much, right? We're all taping our own stuff. We have to buy the equipment. We have to rent studio space, coachings and whatnot. And I'm honestly spending like between $50 and $100 every tape I send in. I literally am, you know, I really am. So it's like, yeah, I mean, this month alone has been crazy. It's been so busy, you know, like opportunities are opening up for everyone because casting can see so many more tapes than they did before.
Yeah.
But yeah, this month alone, I probably did like 15 auditions, and every single one I'm spending 50 to $100. So, you know, it's running a deficit right now, and it's kind of crazy.
God. Okay. Dude, fingers crossed for you, man. Like keep pushing. You're getting those auditions, man. You're doing it.
Yeah.
So let's just start off at the very beginning from like basically your high school days. So I heard from another interview that as a kid you had originally wanted to be a police officer, and that during high school and everything like that, you might have went into acting for quote unquote the wrong reasons. Can you go into a bit more detail about what those wrong reasons were?
Yes. So I guess being, I think I fell in love with acting, doing plays in high school and stuff. And I'm gonna be honest. I like the applause. It was a great feeling. And also when you're going through a play and it's like funny and then the crowd is laughing and stuff, you feel really fulfilled. I think everybody would, right? You just feel fulfilled, and it feels addicting to have that feeling over and over again.
Yeah.
And whereas some actors just like, you know, they only want to do the 3 kind of show runs, I was like, I'll do as many as I can. Like, I just love the feeling of it. And then obviously you think about the fact that this is something that could make you a lot of money. You get noticed, and being on TV and stuff is cool. Showing your friends, that stuff is really cool. And then I started acting, and I don't think I booked my first gig until 3 years in. And at that point, I was like, man, this is harder than I thought it was. Because I'm not gonna lie, when I first got my first agent, I thought to myself, like, dude, you know, there's not much Asian people like that, and I feel like I'm good, and I feel like I'm just gonna rise. And wow, that's the complete opposite. I look back at some of my old audition tapes, and I rank them. There are some that are like bad but funny, and you can laugh at, and then there's these ones that are so bad that I can't even watch them. Like I click on them, watch maybe like 2 lines, and be like, I can't. I just turn it off. It just makes me cringe.
Yeah.
That was so bad, you know? And to go into my mindset back then and think of how good I thought I was, it's embarrassing for myself. But it also, like, in the big scope of things, when you look back at that and you look at how I feel I am now, that's just the growth, right? But then you look forward and there's like so much more, and I'm like nowhere close to where I want to be. But sorry, I'm getting kind of off track here. So I stepped into acting thinking all these things were going to come easily, and that I was going to get all this joy out of it. And I think I said in that interview that I don't think I went to it for the right reasons, but I feel like I fell in love with it for the right reasons. And where that comes in is really, really, I mean, to boil it down to like simplicity, it's all about taking lemons in your life and making lemonades.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's a single profession. There's not a single profession other than ours where it's like something bad happens to you. Now, I don't wish for these bad things to happen to me, but say my dog died. You know, I had a dog who died 2 years ago. And there's no other profession where someone can have that and be like, that sucks. But you know what? I can use this. Somewhere in the future, I'm able to use it. You know? And that's just one example. There's like, you know, anything that's bad that happens in your life, however specific it is, the more specific, the better. But you just have all these ammo that you collect throughout your life of these things happening, and you're like, I can use this. I can use this. So there's no other career that's like that, and I think I just fell in love with that.
No, definitely, and you do go through a bit about that, with like working with Jeb Beach and all that stuff, which we'll get into a bit later and everything. But I remember you had also said that one of your first stage plays was a Thoroughly Modern Millie. And it was a musical that you were doing and everything like that. has stage performance, how would you compare and contrast your experiences being on film and TV as opposed to being on stage? Is it something that you prefer, something that you wish you would have done more?
I think I would do a lot more stage if Vancouver provided like more opportunities. The reason why I think most actors actually would choose stage, the reason they don't is because the money sucks. There's no comparison unless you're in New York, and even if you're in New York, it's like, I mean, only the top of the top get parts in Broadway shows and stuff, right? And they have that kind of desire of theirs fulfilled. I think the biggest difference, it's I don't know, it's easier and it's harder for two different things. Like for stage acting, obviously, like I've done some one act plays where you're on stage nonstop for 1 hour. And you like, it's not even line memorization, but just like the focus you kind of need to have and everything like that. So that was difficult. I mean, obviously in TV and film, when you're acting, you're doing it a bunch of times, and if you mess up, it's okay. You just do it over and over again. And then in the editing room, they paste everything together and cut it and stuff. But where it's easier for theater is that you're you have your character and you're following an arc and you're just going through it. Like people give you lines, you react to it and you give it back, and you tell the whole story in a linear fashion. But in acting, I think so much of the work has to be done off screen in terms of an analysis and stuff, which honestly I don't think I'm that good at, and it's something I'm really working on. But if you don't analyze the scene properly, you're not going to put in a good performance, because you're shooting things completely out of a chronological order. And so knowing when you're supposed to say climax, or how your character changes through the arcs of it, you really need to have it all detailed out into how it works. And you're like, okay, this day, my first day on set, but it's like the end of the movie, the end of my arc and whatnot. And so you really need to go through all of that, and all that work has to come before you obviously step on set and then work. Otherwise you're kind of screwed.
Sorry. Just ask for about your preparation that you're doing right now. You had mentioned also in another interview that you said your dad had wanted to become an actor himself before too. With knowing that knowledge, was it a little bit easier telling your folks that you want to pursue acting, knowing that your dad wanted to become an actor?
I feel very fortunate in being I assume that most Asians, their parents are immediately like, no. I think that's a very generalized way to put it, but I feel like it's pretty accurate. I mean, did you have that experience with your parents?
Oh yeah.
Yourself? It was hard, right? My parents, they were cool with it. Like my mom was like, that's unrealistic a little bit, but I'll support you 3 years or 5 years or whatever. And then she saw that I was actually putting in the work and I was getting some sort of success. So she's 100% supportive right now. My dad was really, really easily on board. Like I said, he wanted to be an actor, and I think he kind of lives vicariously through me. He really wants to put himself in my shoes and be like, this is what you should be adding to your arsenal. He's been trying to get me to go to dance lessons for so long. And honestly, I really should. But it's one of those things where I'm so scared of, man. Like, I don't know why it is. I think it's because when you're acting, and if you do a shitty job, can I swear? Sorry. If you do a crappy job, you can be like, you can kind of hide behind it. And you can kind of make excuses for why you did what you did. But when you're dancing, man, that's you. So if you suck, you got nothing to hide behind that. You just suck. And so I don't know. I climb up, and the only time I've ever auditioned, the only time I've ever done dance was I auditioned to play Bruce Lee in a biopic of his that is now like delayed. But at that point, this is like 2-3 years ago, I got shortlisted for the role and was told that I was going to go to Malaysia and meet the director and stuff. And I was super excited about that. Obviously, because Bruce Lee is like my dad's biggest hero. And I watched the movies ever since I was a kid. And so, man, I was thinking, man, if I got to play him, my dad would just be floored. My parents would be so proud. So yeah, that was the only time I hired like a private cha-cha-cha dancer, because Bruce Lee did cha-cha-cha.
Right.
Cha-cha, sorry, not cha-cha-cha. And yeah, so I did like 8 classes of those. Other than that, I've bought like maybe 3 or 4 Groupon passes to go to dance class, and I've let them all expire.
Oh no.
I'm not kidding. Like, no joke whatsoever.
Yeah.
Harvard Dance Studio, iDance. These are Vancouver's dancing schools, and I bought the coupons, and I could not go through with it.
Oh my God, dude!
I know it's terrible.
You have a martial arts background, so you have some semblance of choreography and everything. So I believe you can do it.
Uh, yeah, I suppose. Again, I really should. I really should go do it. I feel like it just, yeah. The most telling thing is obviously I'm uncomfortable with it, and I think people, especially actors, should do anything that makes them uncomfortable. Because how are you supposed to step in front of people in an audition and you're feeling uncomfortable and nervous and stuff? How are you supposed to do all that stuff when you're, embarrassed about dancing or something? But funny thing is, the latest project I did was another Hallmark movie, and I played a dance instructor. Can you believe that?
Oh,
that's funny.
You just fake it till you make it, though, right? Like I'm on set, and the dance instructor is trying to tell me how to act like I'm teaching the other actors dancing, and I'm like, shit, I don't even know. Like, I don't know how to hold my hands. I had to I was a dance teacher, like, and my character, they even mentioned off screen, they're like, yeah, Kendall, he's a world class ballroom dancing teacher or something. I was like, wow, I don't know how I'm going to fake this, but I don't know. Luckily, I didn't have to do too much dancing. I just had to pretend to teach other actors. That was a nervous day for me.
Well, I mean, if anything, that was probably the purest form of acting you could have put out there. It's like you got to play what you're not and make people believe it.
Yeah, you fake it. Just fake it.
100%. Oh man, and I think what is interesting is like that is a rather interesting background to have one parent have a kind of an intimate understanding of like that desire to pursue something that is essentially intangible in the beginning, right? Like until you kind of get some recognition, it'll be tough for a lot of, I guess, Asian or maybe just conservative minded like parents to really see it as a potential opportunity. I'm wondering, what was kind of one of the main pieces of advice that like your dad gave you when pursuing this based upon like his experience?
Well, he never actually pursued it. He just always thought that he wanted to get into it. Like he watched Bruce Lee, and he's like he loved fighting and stuff. And he honestly, I should show you some pictures of him. He looks just like Bruce Lee.
No way.
Like dresses like him and stuff, and he can throw some kicks, man. My dad was good. So I can't say that he's given me a whole lot of advice, but I do remember him saying to me, never stop discovering or never stop exploring things that other actors do. Like never stop learning in that sense, don't just get stuck with one teacher or two different ones all the time, and just pull as much as you can. It was really broad advice, but I appreciate it because I think it's very true.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love that. So one of your first major breaks was playing the role of Chet in Girl versus Monster. And you had said that it was from booking that role and seeing yourself on TV that from then on your parents like legitimized your passion, your road towards acting a little bit more. How important was it for you to get your family's blessing before fully committing to the acting road that you're embarking on right now?
Again, I think I'm spoiled because I felt resistance at some points, but I never. I hear stories of my peers whose parents acted very differently than mine. Man, it didn't change too much. Like I said, like I booked that role like 2-3 years in maybe, and my mom had said something like 3 or 5 years. And then from then on, every few months, I would get one gig and whatnot. So it was reassuring to her, and obviously, it made me feel good that my parents were proud of me.
Yeah.
So it's important in that sense. Yeah, I don't know if I answered your question properly.
No. I mean, it's the dynamic between your family's blessing and your own path is. I think it is very important, just because in this craft, if there's anyone that you really have to believe in, it's yourself. But you also hope that other people will also believe in you too. And other people that you hold to high esteem are your parents, your sister, your siblings, or whatever. And it really helps, at least for myself, to know that they also believe in me too. So it's great that you got your parents' blessing like pretty early on in your career and everything.
What about you? Like how was telling your parents and how they react to that?
Um, to be honest, it's a little bit easier to do that when you're like on the other side of the country.
That's
Yeah,
fair. I mean, how long ago
yeah.
was that? When did you tell your parents?
I literally told them so I told them that I was about to quit my job in late 2018. And
What
then
did you do for work before that?
I was working at VFX
What was your
houses.
real job?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Working as
Yeah.
production coordinator at VFX houses. And I just told them like this ain't the path for me. And they saw it too. They knew that I wasn't like happy doing the job. But I think they were pretty astounded when I said I was gonna go and become an actor and go into film school. So I mean, I'm doing it and there's not a lot they can say, but I know at the same time they're happy that I choosing a path that is better for me.
That you like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
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 So okay, moving on from like, of course, your family that at first saw you grow and everything like that. You also have the amazing acting coach Jeb Beach. He's played a big part in your starting out as an actor, and you had this one thing about turning a traumatic event from your upbringing and morphing into something positive. Can you go into a bit more
Right.
detail about that transformation and how Jeb has kind of turned the negative into a positive for you?
Yeah. Wow. You're reminding me of the story I used to tell whenever I told people I got into acting. And I know exactly what you're talking about.
Hmm.
So I studied with Jeb. He was my first real acting teacher that I signed up and actually paid money to study acting from.
Nice.
And in the scene, I was doing a scene from Cool Hand Luke. I don't know if you've seen the movie before,
Mhm.
but Paul Newman's character, he's in prison, and his mom, who's dying, comes in to see him, uh, like one last time, and they're both really cold to each other. Like they're not really showing each other a lot of love, and he's kind of really nonchalant to her, and he just like says goodbye to her, and then kind of just like he leaves.
Mm.
And I just thought when I was reading the script, I was just like, and I was trying to like ramp up all these emotions and everything like that, and Jeb was just like, what are you doing? You know, like it has to be really cool and collected and whatnot. And I'm like, why? He's just like, the whole point of it is all those emotions that you have,
Mhm.
they're not on the surface. They're buried deep underneath. And the whole point of that scene was because Luke was so calm with his mom because his mom was dying, and he wanted his mom to know that he was going to be okay. You know, if he's saying to his mom like
Ah.
goodbye, you know, I love you and everything like that, you know, he knows that she's gonna just not die peacefully, and he loves her mom and he wants her to die peacefully. So he's putting on a brave face and saying, you know, it's all gonna be, but he's dying inside. And so at the same time, coincidentally, like maybe 2 weeks ago or something, I had to give away my dog, German Shepherd. He got really aggressive and whatnot, and this uh, dog humane society came by and tried to offer me money for my dog,
Mm.
and I didn't accept it. I was just like, no, I just wanted this dog to have a good life. Please just take him and whatnot. And so I was sharing my personal life with Jeb, and Jeb said, great, perfect example. Do this scene right now. Think about your dog. Think about how much you love your dog. Think about all the positive things. Now say goodbye to your dog. And I'm like crying. And he's like, no, stop. Cover it up. Because if your dog leaves and he knows that you're going to be like crying like this, he's not going to want to leave, but you want him to be happy, right? So you want him to leave, you got to let him know it's okay. So now I'm crying, but I have all these emotions buried up underneath. And he goes, cover, nothing, just no emotions, no emotions. Now say your lines. And you say your lines, and it's kind of like all these emotions are right there. It's in your eyes, but buried underneath. And that was the one example, the first example rather, where I was able to substitute something from my life and probably do one of the best acting things in my life, because it wasn't acting, you know. I was able to take something from my real life, connect with who I was playing in the scene, and then apply it to that. So yeah, I think Jeb was a huge influence for me in terms of finding the right reasons to fall in love with acting.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I mean, for that, of course, there's many different methods that you can go in with acting. You know, of course, there's like Meisner techniques and all that stuff too. Do you find substitution is one of the best ways for you to really connect with a character, in that you can take things from your own life and then transpose it onto the character that you're playing?
Yes, but I have to say that I haven't been able to like we're talking pretty dark stuff when we talk about like substituting, you know, people who died in your life, or you
Yeah.
know, giving an animal away and stuff. Like I haven't had a lot of auditions opportunities where they required that kind of emotional connection, I guess.
Mhm.
I think one thing that I struggle with a lot, and I could only imagine that probably most actors struggle with, and they don't even know. And I suck with it. I have to consistently remind myself. But I take this audition scene yesterday, and I'm like, sitting in our car, and I'm like talking to my daughter in the rear view
Mhm.
mirror. And I mean, there's one facet of what you're saying, which is emotionally connecting with your daughter and like having that relationship, like relationship kind of like sussed out and everything like that. But a huge aspect of it is like the technical stuff.
Yeah.
You're in your car. You want to be believable. You don't want to literally be like this and then like ticking and whatnot with your tinker and turn signals and stuff. But you really
Mhm.
have to visualize yourself literally being in a car. You know. And I
Yeah.
think that kind of aspect, surrounding yourself in the environment of where your character is, really helps. And I think a lot of actors don't know that, actually, because even for me, like I probably realized this maybe only 2 years ago, that I really have to bring in the environment, and because it changes everything. Like if you're talking
Mhm.
to someone at a party, and say it's a secret, and you don't want to have people hear, then you're going to be looking around because you don't want people to see, and you're going to
Yeah.
talk and be hush about it and stuff like that. So it changes everything, and that's like the technical aspect of it, and then there's the emotional aspect. I don't even remember what your question is. What am I doing? What was your question? Did you have a question?
Yeah. Like I was just basically wondering if substitution is your main method of working when you are trying to have the emotional state of the scene down.
It is.
It is.
There.
Okay,
I
awesome.
should have just said that. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
No, but that's a great point, though. I mean, of course, we want to have the emotional state, but also the context, the environment plays a big part in how we display those emotions. So you bring up a good point about driving a car. You're not going to be like looking up like that the whole time because you're driving a car.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's a great point there. Mhm. So I know you've worked with like Meatloaf and also like Vincent D'Onofrio too, and everything like
Yeah.
that. Like pretty big heavy hitters there. Um, if I was ever on set with those type of people, like I think my head would be kind of spinning. I kind of lose ground and all that stuff too. What advice would you give to actors when they're on set with bigger name stars so that they're still present and vulnerable while still maintaining some professionalism?
uh Gosh, I don't see. I can give the advice, but then I don't even know if I take it myself. Because it's obviously you get starstruck. Obviously, you get starstruck.
Yeah.
When I worked with Vincent D'Onofrio, like it was, I was watching Netflix Daredevil at the time, and so I was like, holy shit, that's Kingpin. Like that's him. I think he's terrific, and I can't believe. And then I think my wife's now wife, her dad was saying how like this actor. Oh, did you know he's like the main villain in Men in Black, the first one? I was like, oh yeah, he is. I didn't realize that. And just like, wow, all these childhood things that I've watched and I'm watching now, and he's him. And I mean, I'm working with him, and it's kind of crazy. Uh, Man, I mean, I know what the correct advice is. I feel like most people would know what the advice is, and that's just not to think about him as a star and just treat him as his character. Now,
Yeah.
whether I did that or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I can give advice because I feel like everyone knows that advice. It's just like, hey, if you show up and you're too starstruck by them,
Yeah.
I mean, you put me in a scene with Jennifer Aniston or something, I'm just gonna be staring into her beautiful eyes the whole time, just like, wow.
It's like, was it a break? I don't know if it was a break, and then just
Oh, a Friends reference.
Sorry, what was
Friends.
that? What was that?
I said it's like,
Oh,
was it a
gotcha.
break?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite show. Friends.
Oh,
I
really?
know.
Friends?
We yeah. Oh yeah. We play it in the background every
All the
day.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Friends was the one that also really kind of piqued my interest in like humor and everything. Because when I was a kid, I would always watch Friends after school, just went kind of at home by myself when I'm by myself, and I kind of connected most with Chandler, who is like the funniest one, the most sarcastic, and I don't think I fully realized it, but I started like taking his mannerisms and like incorporating into my personality over time, and then developing kind of my sense of humor. I'm wondering, do you have like a similar type of like specific character like that, where like whoever you watch, I know you mentioned Bruce Lee a little bit, as well as being somebody like very iconic in your life as well, like taking that unique specific character and then kind of transferring some of those qualities into your acting into something that like you want to emulate? Has there been like certain qualities of certain characters that you've identified?
Yes, for sure. The whole Bruce Lee thing, by the way, I do some martial arts, but I don't consider myself like any sort of like martial art master or whatever. I grew up doing a lot of martial arts that are kind of like fighting, but not performative. Like I don't think, I didn't take any classes that kind of looked really beautiful on screen. So that's struggle there. But it's like the interesting thing about playing Bruce Lee, the prospect of playing him, wasn't playing like the star that he was, because I just feel like every rendition up until now, it's just almost like caricature. It becomes like a caricature. We're watching Bruce Lee, what he was on screen, and then movies are trying to be like him, what his character is. This like cocky guy and whatnot. But then this biopic that I had auditioned for was him 16 years old and under. So I thought that was really interesting, because that was really like exploring what his mindset was like, and probably like it's kind of like the reverse, trying to break it down to that, like how did this person become the superstar that he was? What kind of like adversities did he go through, and how did he start off? Probably quite the opposite or something like that. I think that was interesting.
Nice.
But in terms of actors, I definitely have my list of favorite actors, but I don't know if I like them because I see myself in them. I just like them. I don't know. I feel like a lot of Shia LaBeouf's stuff, I don't know that I could do what he does. I don't know. I mean, I don't think, I like his roles a lot, and I like, man, I wish I could do something like that. One of those projects. I like the projects he picked.
Yeah, you don't think you could do like the whole method acting, not shower for 2 months so you can get in the role of a Sherman tanker or something like that?
Right. I mean, the latest one was that he gave himself a full chest tattoo.
Yeah,
Did you hear that?
Oh my God.
That's for Honey Boy?
No, it was for
it's a new one.
Okay.
With David Ayer.
Yeah, it's like the tax accountant or something like
Right.
that. But it's
I can't remember either.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. That level of commitment where like, because it was funny, similar to like what I said about not showering, and that stuff like really bothered some of the other actors on the set as well, because it's like he would act legitimately, like his smell would legitimately bother some of the other actors. So like I wonder, in terms of how you see that level of method acting, I'm wondering if like you see that as something that's you lean towards that being more of a authentic approach, or kind of that might be too much where it's like, then it's not really the act of acting. Like you still have to be able to generate it without having to go through such extreme lengths,
Yeah, it's funny, right? Because like when people go through such extreme things, it's not even acting anymore. They're just being yeah, at that point you're when you're so fully immersed into a role, you're really just being and not really acting, because the definition of acting, it really is just being someone when you're not. But I mean, I don't disrespect it at all, though. I don't know if I can get to that level if I had the opportunity. I don't know. I certainly haven't had any roles that required you to really get into that level. But I feel, yeah, man, like I would love the challenge. Like I would love the weight challenge thing, just to see if you can do it.
Ooh,
like
yes.
whether if you're slimming way down or just like, well, no, eating the food would be a lot more fun.
You know what?
I would totally.
I've actually heard kind of somewhat the opposite. Sometimes like eating the food is fun in the beginning, but then once it's like you're not enjoying it, because like you could eat it when you feel like it and not eat it when you don't have to. But once it's like you got to eat it when you don't feel like it, that's, I think, those kind of hurdles that I remember reading and hearing about actors having to be like, oh, that's the worst.
See, that's where I disagree with you, because I would eat ice cream. And if I got bored by ice cream, I'd probably eat brownies. And when I got sick of brownies, I eat like cheesecakes, man. I feel like I'd be okay. I love food so much, man. Like it's just, it's sickening to me how much I love food. And it's also a detriment. Yeah.
Just waiting for that roll, that one golden roll where like you just gotta, maybe, I don't know, Asian Kingpin. Maybe Asian Kingpin. That'll be the one.
Tom Hanks is my favorite actor. One of my favorite actors. Mostly because he's such a nice guy too. Not that he's not a good actor. I think he's a great actor. But I remember him talking about doing Castaway, and I think they shot the I want to say they shot the skinny scenes first, and then they started skinny, and then he got fat after that. But he said that he had this ice cream like truck around the corner that he visited every single day, multiple times a day to fatten up. I would love that experience.
Oh my God. Speaking on your current roles and all that stuff right now, you've had a great run of romantic comedies or romantic movies, sorry, such as like A Homecoming for the Holidays and Just My Type, and season 2 of Virgin River that's coming out soon. What draws you towards those type of romantic dramas?
You know what's funny? Is that when I first started acting with Jeb Beach, and this is 8-9 years ago, and he still brings this up every single time I take a class with him. He would talk to class about the story I have, and I made fun of Hallmark acting. Like I didn't appreciate it. I was just like, I feel like it's bad acting. You know what I mean? But it's not bad acting, and man, like I feel like it's everyone kind of serves their purpose. You know, it's more chill. Obviously, they have the people who watch it, and you know what? I've watched a couple of them. I'm like, it's not that bad. I don't know. It makes people feel good and stuff. Definitely, the acting style is much easier. Okay. You know what? Sorry, I can't use easy as a word. Easy for me.
Okay.
But wow. And is that what I'm trying to say? I don't really know what I'm trying to say here. Working on Homecoming for the Holidays, let's just say, I played a PTSD war vet. And that was my first Hallmark gig I ever booked. I used to suck at auditioning for them because I would put so much intensity into them. You know, like PTSD war vet, I'd be like, yeah, you know, like I literally am putting myself in that mind frame. And during the callback, they definitely told me to lighten up. And they made me run different versions of it. And then they booked me on it. And when I was working on it, the first day I had trouble because it was like the most difficult scene for me where, you know, my character's like battling through PTSD, and this father figure I have comes over and kind of has to talk with me about how he used to be a war veteran too, and how to like get past that by embracing the people around you and whatnot. And we were just so heavy with it. Like as me, especially, I think I was just doing everything that Jeb taught me, you know, like have all these emotions, tap the hell down, and then just be happy about it. But they could just see it. And they're like, no, happy, be more Hallmark, be more Christmas, like. And it was weird to experience that, but I mean, I don't mind it at all. I mean, you don't feel shitty for the rest of the day. You know, it's a Christmas movie, and so the whole point of it is just to entertain people. It's definitely a different style. It's not a style I'm used to, but like I said, I didn't book a single Hallmark thing for the first 7 or 8 years, and now my last 4 gigs have all been either Hallmark or Virgin River, which is pretty much the same thing. Yeah.
Dude, we're so excited for Virgin River, though. It's gonna be awesome to see you there. Is there anything that you can say about your character in that?
I can't say anything about my character because he's not a huge character, but he definitely plays a part into how the whole big story kind of moves forward.
Awesome.
But yeah, once I talk about anything about it, it's just gonna give it away.
For sure.
Yeah.
Exciting. Sure. You're really selling it. I'm intrigued already.
Awesome. Let's go to word association from here. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's go. Let us go. So basically, with our word association game, we like to do this at the end of all of our episodes. It's kind of a palate cleanser, kind of get to put the tag team it. Just you and what's your dog's name?
This dog is Sophie.
Aww,
Sophie.
Hi, Sophie. Yeah.
You and Sophie just
dog.
Attack this game head on. And
sure.
So basically, we'll do word association. I'll have my 10 words. Lucas will have his 10 words. And then once we get started, just clear your head and think of or say the first word or idea or image that comes to your mind after we say our words. So
okay, I apologize if it gets dirty. I got a dirty mind.
Hey, that way we get to know you. We get to know you more. Just unadulterated. No, not unadulterated. Unfiltered Donald.
Yeah, okay.
Unadulterated. Wait.
I don't know why that sounded right to me. I don't really know what that means.
Yeah,
I'm like, that sounds right.
Right. I think I might have just reflexively said it because it's like everybody says that in this situation, right? I should so it's not anyways. Okay. Let's go. I'll go with my 10 words and then Lucas will go with his.
Okay.
So cool. All right. You and Sophie ready?
Yeah.
Let's do this. Okay. First word. Family.
Dad.
Pineapple.
Sweet.
Rain.
Smell.
Alone.
Great. Sorry, Eleanor. I'm just kidding. That's my wife.
Motivation.
For acting. I don't know. Acting.
Kumquat.
Come again?
Kumquat.
No, I heard you. I was just making
Oh,
a joke.
there it
That
is.
was my word.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. I like it. Alliteration. Mountain.
Climber.
Tightrope.
Fall down.
Satisfied.
Right now.
And finally, ending.
End game. Greatest movie of all time.
Ooh,
Oh,
that
wow.
that ending in Endgame. There you go.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm waiting for the day you get some Marvel money, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we got a Chinese superhero now, so that's pretty cool.
Give it up for Simu. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Ready for the next 10?
Sure.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. First word of 10. Beach.
Sun.
Create.
Art.
Nice. Romance.
Eleanor.
Ooh, Eleanor. Oh, okay. Food.
Sushi.
Transform.
MERS.
Oh,
There.
Transformers.
Transformers. There
Oh,
it is.
okay, okay.
Nice.
Prepare.
How do you guys come up with these words? I'm prepare acting. Wow.
Nice.
Again, sorry.
Josh has a list that's like pretty consistent throughout all episodes.
Yeah.
And I try to get words that I see from my research on you. So yeah. Monster.
Closet.
Closet monster. Cool. Run.
Marathon.
Dad.
Mom.
Last one, Donald.
So
Oh, Donald and Soph.
Donald and Sophie.
Give it up for Donald Heng. Woo!
Thank you. Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
for coming on.
Yeah.
yeah, that was fun. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. What are your social media handles? How can people find you?
Oh man, what is it? Heng Donald? Yeah, Heng. Instagram is at Heng Donald.
Okay,
Simple.
okay. Last name.
Sorry, I always
then first
forget
name.
whether it's I always forget whether it's like first name and then second. I mean last, but it's last and then first. That's right.
Last. Nice, nice. Everyone go
As-
follow him.
Yeah, in the traditional Chinese way, last is first. I appreciate
right.
it. I appreciate it.
Josh, what are your handles?
For me, at Josh Yang Comedy across everything. And of course, I always plug the Sleep with Josh podcast. It's a podcast where I read very dull things like legal documents to lull you to sleep. So give that.
Are you serious? That's what you do? That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah, because I have a naturally monotone voice, and I thought it'd be funny. So I've read like copyright law of Canada. I've read the terms of services of Facebook. I've counted sheep for about an hour. So just a bunch of random stuff in this voice, and it's like.
What did you count up to when you're counting sheep?
I went insane at about 700, so I couldn't go any further.
Jeez. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but I am planning for one when I hit my 100th episode to count 1,000 sheep, and no matter what happens, I might turn into The Shining. No matter what happens, I'm gonna hit 1,000 sheep, and that's my promise.
I'll tune in.
Yeah.
Me too, man.
I'm not promising that though.
And everyone can find me at Lucas John Hing on Instagram and on Facebook. Follow this podcast on YouTube or wherever you will listen to your podcast at HWMIY podcast, and follow us on YouTube too. We would love the subscribers. So thank you so much for the support. Give it up for Mr. Donald Heng again. Woo!
Hey.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Awesome. We'll see you all next week. See you later.